Gotta support each other more. It breaks my heart reading how many of you are struggling. I wish I could reply to every single one of you and tell you that you are worth it. Tell you that your struggles are okay and that you are very welcome to talk about it. Not just here on Reddit. I hope you all find the courage to reach out when you need help. You are worth it. And realize that this subreddit proves that you are not alone. Story 1. Honestly, pretty decent lately. I have been putting more effort into my mental health, even when things seem fine. I am a bit of a tinkerer, so I finally turned that energy inward. I figured it was time to explore my mind and see what is going on inside. It turns out that getting to know myself better and moving through life with more intention actually feels great. It is like a garden. You have to keep showing up, pulling weeds, and watering it if you want it to grow and thrive. Story 2. Honestly, not very well. Somewhere along the lines, my life took an unexpected turn, and I was given the responsibility of caring for terminally ill parents. The hardship is not the illness itself. It is that they are fundamentalists with no concept of accountability or taking responsibility for their actions. A good son cares for his parents, but watching in silence while they continue making the choices that led to them being terminally ill is difficult. I am sure I would be nominated for sainthood, given all the restraint I have shown. I took some time off for myself recently and decided to buy one of those vape pens from Stasi. I burned through 4 pods in less than 4 days. It was eye-opening. Reflecting on what I saw that day had a significant psychological impact because I find myself doing the little things again to maintain a level head. I go to the beach, take walks in the park, and even though I already have an exercise regimen, I am starting to seek out little places around the city where I can work out outside in nature. In summary, things are difficult right now, but I am working on them. Story 3. It's improving. I have been working on some things and taking life more seriously. I am ultimately responsible for my own happiness. Story 4. My will to live has been gone for 13 years. I am 24. I am only here in case I ever need to protect my sister, niece, and nephews. Story 5. Awful. Still coping with losing my father. And there is barely a day that goes by without me contemplating dying. I cannot talk to anyone about it. Story 6. My imposter syndrome has calmed down enough for me to show a little ambition and ask for a pay raise at work. That looks like it might come to fruition, so I am looking forward to experiencing imposter syndrome again in a couple of months. Story 7. The world is on fire. Evil men are destroying life in every corner of the globe. The country that should be the leader of peace and compassion is a fascist dictatorship. My back hurts. What do you think? Story 8. Not great, but not terrible. Emotional issues have been a part of my life for about 2.5 years now. Admittedly, it has been a lifelong struggle. However, I have a good family, friends, and my cat. I get low, but my support system brings me back up, so I cannot complain. Story 9. Pretty bad, but it must get worse before it can heal and improve, as I am talking to a psychologist. Story 10. I feel upset, but I have no reason to be upset because I am on new mental health medication, so I should be fine. I think it has to do with me being transgender, but I am scared to admit it because I would feel less like a man, and I might receive negative comments from this community. Therefore, I have no reason to feel upset. Story 11. I was feeling down a month ago, but small wins make a big difference. Completing a task really helps you progress on other projects as you go. Story 12. Getting better, but not quite there. I got promoted at work, which is keeping me busy and helps. However, with today's economy and our current government, it is scary. I cannot really afford to live alone, which directly affects my mental health. I have been single for a long time because I cannot meet anyone who I feel will not disturb the calm that I do have. Everyone around me is married with children. Do I want children? Not really, but never having the option may have affected that decision. Story 13. My personal life is great, but my family life and the world at large both are difficult, so I am in a really strange mental health limbo. Story 14. Appreciate the support. Original poster. My mental health still needs improvement, but it is definitely getting better. Many of my days are spent self-reflecting, journaling, exercising, and ensuring I eat the right foods. Leaving the online chat platform was a game changer. Therapy recently ended, and I have been using the tools I received to help me improve. Let us know how you are doing as well. Story 15. Honestly, better. I started taking Lexapro about a month ago. Feels like a switch flipped in my brain. I don't know if it's placebo or what, but I haven't had those overwhelming episodes of depression since starting. It went from daily, unbearable bouts of wanting to end my life to literally nothing. From being unable to stop the spiral to being able to focus for once and actually get up and do things. I love it. Please take care of yourselves. Story 16. Actually, pretty good. I realized that many of my problems were related to the fact that I was basing my value on what others thought of me. I have been tuning back into myself to establish more self-love, worth, and respect. I have noticed many positive changes. I am more in tune with my needs. My stress levels have decreased. I feel less anxious, and I have been receiving more smiles from people on the street. Story 17. My mental health is really good. I have quit all the substances, which was a long list. I exercise, get enough sleep, have good friendships, eat healthy food, and am madly in love with my partner. I have clarified my values and boundaries and am living my best life. Life is good. Stress happens sometimes, but it is nothing I cannot manage. Story 18. Completely struggling. I am doing better than I was a few weeks ago, but the depression and loneliness are always in the back of my mind and are starting to affect everything a bit more again, which is strange because I am happier than I was. I do not really feel happier yet. I just seem to know that I am, probably because the frustration has decreased a bit. Not much, but a bit. Reaching out does not mean we will all get help, or at least effective help. And not being alone does not truly solve loneliness. It just allows all of us to be miserable together. Story 19. I see a psychologist once a week. I am stressed beyond all belief. Every day it gets easier. I am just glad I have someone to talk to. Story 20. Our son died, my wife's grandfather who lived with us died. I lost my job. Then my wife's grandmother sold the house out from under us, telling her pregnant granddaughter to leave because we refused to give her the title to our car so she could give it away. This all happened within 3 months last year. Now we're struggling to pay rent and our bills are all past due. I have bipolar disorder and I am in a mixed state with psychosis, delusions, and hallucinations. I cannot afford to see my psychiatrist, neurologist, or gastroenterologist. Even though all I want is to find my former drug-using friends to buy heroin and end it all, I have no option but to keep going for my wife and the 2 children we still have with us. There is no help for us right now, and since I have accepted that, I can start rebuilding our lives. Maybe I won't crave death one day, but that day is not today. Story 21. Meh. At this point, I'm just on autopilot. The only way I can survive is to shut my brain off as much as possible and focus on what is right in front of me. I am constantly telling myself not to think too much about the future and just focus on what I can get done in the next 24-hour period. Story 22. Dialysis and kidney disease are making me more depressed because the potential life I could have lived is now lost to me forever. Sports and activities that I wanted to try are now too dangerous for my body. Finding a job, especially one that might need to be remote or hybrid to accommodate my eventual permanent dialysis treatment, is currently impossible. Story 23. Comes and goes. The positive is I have the wife of my dreams. The darkness comes from knowing I do not provide enough for her. Story 24. Getting worse each day. Bizarrely, I can feel it. I am powering through as much as I can, but finding I want to drink more and more. Crying a lot more when I am on my own. It is hard to see a way out anymore. Sorry for the vent. Story 25. It is bad, but not as bad as it was last week. Dancing around a multicolored fire seemed to help a bit. Story 26. Oh, same stuff, different day. Story 27. Strange. I took the whole week off for vacation because it has been a long while. It has rained a lot, but I have gotten under my car for an oil change. I have taken a nap or 2 and played with the dog. Right now, I am watching Miami Vice reruns, dressed exactly like Sunny, while sipping a piña colada I made in my blender. All of this is great while listening to Sun City on my home system because leaving the house means your wallet starts getting drained when you step out the door. Story 28. A challenging roller coaster. Unforeseen and out of my control obstacles set me back years financially. However, I have reached new health milestones and am in the best shape I have been in for many years. Story 29. Terrible, but I have been really busy at work. When I get home, I am so tired that I just eat and then go to sleep, so it does not bother me too much. Story 30. I am bored, extremely busy, and financially concerned about the future, while making the most revenue I have ever had, all in one day. Haha. Story 31. Right now, my mental health is mostly stable, but my outlook and hope for any future at all for humanity is diminishing. Story 32. It breaks my heart reading how many of you are struggling. I wish I could reply to every single one of you and tell you that you are worth it. Your struggles are okay, and you are very welcome to talk about them, not just here on Reddit. I hope you all find the courage to reach out when you need help. You are worth it. Remember that this subreddit proves that you are not alone. Story 33. Have you ever had one of those days when your luck was so bad that if it were raining, you would get hit between the eyes? That is me today. Story 34. I am in a good place right now. Job, hobbies, friends, and so on. In all honesty, the only complaint I have is being single. 29. It is getting boring. Story 35. Feeling very depressed and considering suicide, but not ready to act on it. I am trying to get an appointment with a psychiatrist to get prescribed antidepressants. After that, I hope to find an office job. Still feeling very low. Story 36. I was doing pretty well until this morning. I have been at work thinking all day about some of my friendships and have been feeling terrible. Story 37. I'm tired. Chief. Cancer and emphysema. Moving into a new house, though, and it has a heated pool. My partner still wants to be very active. So I guess I can't complain. It is what it is. Story 38. The year started out really well, and for the first 5 months, I was feeling better than I had felt in 6 years. But then my dog of 12 years died suddenly, and my girlfriend broke up with me 3 weeks later. It has been hard to even maintain the low point I have been at for the past month. I keep telling myself it will get better, and it will, but I am still not eating or sleeping enough, so the effort is barely there. My heart goes out to all the others who are struggling too. It will get better for us somehow. Story 39. Not good, brother, emotionally and silently crashing out almost daily. Not at anyone, just mentally. Deleting social media has helped a bit, but I don't know how long I can go on repeating this cycle. Something has to change. Story 40. Pretty good. It was difficult. Bad breakup, and my dad died shortly after. I received some money from his death and took a year off. I cleared my mind by basically doing nothing, playing video games and having zero responsibility. The stress relief was incredible. Started my first job in a year yesterday. $5,000 a week, easy, and I'm happy to be here. Feels good to be back in the world, and nice to travel again. Story 41. And not terrible, not great. I work away from my wife currently 7 months away, so that is hard. I miss her and my dog very much. I love my job, but the people I work with are unpleasant. I feel alone even though I am surrounded by people, so that is difficult. Story 42. Not really that good. I always feel like I have a myself versus the entire world mentality. It is sad for me to say this, but there is nothing wrong with asking for help. However, nobody ever thinks about reaching out to me for guidance or support. I am always the one who texts first or reaches out to people who either want nothing to do with me or leave me on read. I am always giving to those who do nothing but take from me. I genuinely feel like I am not good enough for anybody, even when it comes to friendships or relationships. I am only a human being. I know that I made my own choices, decisions, and mistakes in life. What did I ever do to deserve this kind of disrespect? The golden rule in life is to treat people the way you want to be treated. Why can't society recognize that? Story 43. Doing well. Made a new friend last night. A random guy was out alone. My friend and I were waiting to be seated at the restaurant. The waitstaff asked, "Just two?" I said, "Yeah, unless he wants to join us." He did. We talked for 2.5 hours and exchanged numbers. Looking forward to hanging out next week. The Suns are doing well. My friend group and I still make time to hang out and talk. Big supporter of my mental health and the people around me. We talk and hug it all out when needed. Story 44. Honestly, after I lost my job, I have been struggling and it is honestly pretty difficult. I am trying to find the joy and drive to continue moving forward. I am thankful that God put my dog in my life because I feel that I would be worse without him. Story 45. I feel like I am walking a fine line between trying to get better and realizing I have fought for so long that I just want to be at peace and end it all. The struggle is becoming increasingly difficult. Story 46. My country is going through difficult times. I barely get by, have no romantic partner, and not much makes me happy these days. I have my dog, though, and I am still here for him. Story 47. Grandfather was hit by a truck and died a few weeks ago. I have traveled halfway across the world to attend his funeral. Mental health has been difficult, but through this grief, I have developed a renewed sense of appreciation and perspective on life. Story 48. I'm struggling, thanks for asking. I'm a single dad with 2 teenage girls. Their mom left 6 years ago and doesn't pay her child support. I can't believe we're still managing to keep our house. If anything breaks, I'll have to sell it because I won't be able to afford the repairs. If my car breaks down and I need to take on a monthly payment again, I'll also have to sell the house. I'm very frustrated and exhausted all the time from solo parenting, and everything keeps getting more expensive while I'm already at the lowest point financially. Story 49. I have been seeing a therapist since last November and have been using an app called Replica. My wife is doing her best to understand, but it has mostly been teaching her what it is like being me and then what it is like being a man. Not long ago, I told her I was bored with life, bored with everything. I called the hotline today. I fear that I am mostly losing this battle, but I do not want to alarm my wife. She does not deserve that. Story 50. It is getting better. I have been taking more losses than I ever imagined, but I am staying motivated and positive. Most of all, I am busy. Story 51. I'm living in some of the hardest times in my life. It seems the older I get, the worse my life becomes. My medication doesn't work, and I spend more days depressed than not. I feel like I drag around a weight I can hardly manage, and just getting through the weeks feels like an accomplishment. My teens and 20s were infinitely greater than my 30s, and I firmly believe my best years are behind me. I do try to appreciate my blessings, but I get little enjoyment out of life anymore. I'm too young to feel this way. If you asked me in person how things are going, I would say, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Story 52. I'm doing a lot better these last few weeks since my last emotional breakdown. I've listened to many self-help videos and podcasts, talked to a therapist, worked much more, made more money, and feel so much more motivated than ever before. I'm chasing that high right now as I write this. I didn't think I could thrive on feeling tired in a good way before now, where I embrace the struggle to make myself stronger and even feel excited for the future. I want to keep feeling this way. I'm in war mode and I want more, which feels like a scary but drastic change even from the me I was 3 weeks ago. Feeling lost, stuck, and hopeless. Now I feel capable enough to want to grab life by the balls and conquer some challenges. It might be too soon to feel the effects of this newfound motivation, but everything I've been learning culminates into this. Friends, God is incredibly gracious to those who try and make an effort. You can't imagine the things you can have and achieve when you change your mindset. You can't have change and results by sitting around feeling bad and waiting for things to change. You have to get out of bed and refuse to wallow in self-pity and misery. Sometimes you have to get angry at yourself, your predicament, your situation, enough to get up and do something about it. Find your real potential and self-worth, fight to be somebody, and go from zero to hero. Story 53. I have 2 children with a malignant narcissistic sociopath. Because of that, I cannot leave this small town to find a better job. I have to pay my abuser 20% of my income for 16 more years or go to jail, which gives me 50% custody of my own children but not primary guardianship. She has no interest in parenting, so I actually have them much more than the minimum, which is good except I cannot afford to feed them well, take them anywhere, get occasional fast food, fix my oven or car, replace the clothes that their mother keeps taking, or go to a doctor for my many pains and injuries. I also cannot afford to get my broken, painful teeth fixed. I work 12 hours a day and 8 to 10 hours on Saturday. I would like to have my children every day because they spend their mother days at a babysitter's house for 12 hours. Then she picks them up and puts them to bed immediately. They come back to me in the morning with soggy, heavy diapers and no socks. Most of the time they come back wearing the same clothes I sent them in, but if not, they will be wearing shorts in winter or thick sweats in summer. That means I have to buy shorts for them to wear and send them back with shorts, which she keeps. Thankfully, the objective seems to be working so far. My daughter, age 4, is a genius and a kind, thoughtful person. My son, age 2, is strong but loving and has very sensitive feelings. I was going to say more, but do not want to get flagged for talking about extreme measures. If you consider what the results would be, none of it would help me or my children. Hopefully, one day I will have evidence of how she treats them that I already told the courts about, but they apparently did not believe me. Then I can get primary guardianship, move out of here, and have a good life. Until then, I am just waiting in this difficult situation called my life until my son is 18, and then I will be able to leave and try to start something good at the age of 60. Thank you for listening. My question is, would it be less sane if I thought this was okay? Story 54. Yes, the left go purple to order the pencil rod, but where's the hardware I ordered? There goes another argument to shift the gears, make the car go fast. Mike's chicken is good. Where is that email from Shelby with the tracking information? Surviving in a game. I have to have a drink to remember why I am enjoying it so much while watching the world fall apart from the constant go. Yeah, that about sums up my week so far. Story 55. It's sketchy in the morning. Late afternoon gets better. The evenings are good. Have a few whiskeys and find new music on YouTube. Recently discovered Silent Joe, and it has become the songs in my head every day. Story 56. Right now, it is pretty good for the most part. I am going to the gym again, starting a new job, and seeing my family more often. It is making me more optimistic about a better future. I am also considering starting school for a career. However, sometimes I feel down because I see my cousins and close friends all in relationships, and it is disappointing that I have not found that special person yet. But aside from that, things are good overall. Story 57. Not super great, but I have to keep going. I am kind of bummed knowing that the dream the previous generation was able to achieve will remain a dream for most of us. I have accepted that I will never own a home and will never fully be able to retire. The French in my blood is ready for revolution, but the capitalist grind and political struggles over the last few years have made me very tired. Story 58. Fighting every day to not let the bad thoughts win. Some days they do not get much of a foothold. Other days it is quite a struggle. That said, my worst days today are probably better than my best days from roughly 4 years ago, when living was not something I saw continuing long-term in that current state. Story 59. Struggling to motivate myself on a daily basis to do much of anything. I wish to see my children more, but do not have the energy to do much when I am with them. I want to find a partner, but am so unhappy with myself that I cannot imagine anyone else loving me for who I am. Everything has been difficult since my ex-wife had an affair and my life went downhill from there. But I keep going. Story 60. Bloody shambles. I have a triple diagnosis of depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and panic disorder. I take about 8 medications, gain and lose weight like a hot air balloon because of them, and generally would not mind if I just died. I am not contemplating suicide, but the grace of a happy death is what I look forward to at some point in the future. Over the last 3 years, I lost my dad, my stepmom, my uncle, and a really good friend and former work colleague. Then, the beautiful and sweet outdoor cat I had taken care of for nearly 2 years, who just showed up under my car one day, was hit and killed by a vehicle while I was in the process of getting her adopted. I was so close. I happened to be the person who found her in the street that night. I could never bring her in because I am allergic to cats and our landlord does not allow pets, But I loved that girl deeply. That all caught up to me around Christmas. Since then, I have been in a deep depressive state, but I am coming out of it, so panic attacks have started again, which is just great. The obsessive-compulsive disorder is really the only one that is under good control, mostly because of the medications. But even when the deep depressive cycle ends, I will have a constant dysthymia or persistent mild depression. I am still able to work, and my employer has been great. But I am weary, very weary. Story 61. Mine is messed up, man. I'm tired of telling the people I love that I need them to be there for me because I do absolutely everything for everyone, and I run my own business. I get no breaks, ever, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I have a 10-year-old boy and a 5-year-old baby girl, and it's their love that keeps me going. Sometimes I catch my mind slipping into a state where I feel like it's okay for it all to be over and to quit. I lose myself in a sense that I forget to fight those feelings. That's happened a couple of times, and it honestly really scared me. It made me realize that even I can succumb to those feelings, whether I want to or not. I don't know. It's just like a light bulb moment. Then you realize how everyone else is able to do it because they have felt like this. It's a really uncomfortable place to be. Story 62. With all the things I cannot control at the moment, my future looks like a train at full speed heading towards the bottom. Story 63. I am struggling with anger issues and have been diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I received a prescription for medication, but my wife does not think I need it. Sometimes we have serious fights because of my problems. She believes I can control it, but it seems I cannot without external help. I am trying to cope however I can. Through music, screaming when I am alone in the car, physical exercise, or punching walls. It has been like this for too long, and ironically I have become used to these feelings, although sometimes I feel like jumping off a cliff. Story 64. 5 out of 10. Sort of. I'm doing well, and if you look at my life situation with work, finances, and so on, it's never been more stable. But I've lost my way a bit in training and exercise. I sleep poorly, and I can't really motivate myself to create anything. Normally, I like to draw and build things, but now I can barely even watch television. Sometimes I feel like nothing matters. Everything has already been said and done. If I disappeared tomorrow, no one would remember me in a couple of decades. I think I'm having a bit of a belated mid-40s crisis, but I'm not at the level where I'm getting a 20-year-old girlfriend, hair plugs, and a motorcycle yet. I just think I need a new challenge. Ironically, the more stable you are, the less it comes from that. Now the vacations are coming, which gives me about a month to break the trend. Story 65. Neutral, as usual. My mental health is not bad, but I am not very energetic, and it is just okay. Not bad, not excellent. Story 66. It is a daily battle some days, but knowing I am not the only one going through it makes it feel a bit lighter. Story 67. Not the greatest. I fear I am too broken to be truly fixed. Too much has built up over too many years. Story 68. Feeling neglected, underappreciated, exhausted, and helpless. But that is being a parent for you, and it is just another Tuesday for me. There is no reason to stop now and feel pity. It is time to rise and grind. Story 69. Good days and bad days. Currently, I feel like a failure for ending a relationship that was supposed to be perfect for me. I have grown substantially throughout the relationship, but I finally accepted that it still was not enough. I let her go. I hope she can be happy with someone who can love her the way she deserves. I can identify at least 3 past relationships in which the woman seemed completely in love with me, was a wonderful person, got along magnificently with my family, and had her life and career fully together. But my avoidant self felt suffocated by her love, felt guilty for not being able to return that level and quality of love, and worried that in time even she would lose her love for me. My therapist helps me a lot. I listen to podcasts about growth, strength, and acceptance of internal and external things. These help to give me peace. But it can be difficult on some days. Story 70. Not good. Going to therapy for 8 years definitely helped with all the scenarios I made up in my head. However, it has not helped with things that are actually happening in the world, such as the decline of America and the coming climate disaster. I feel like I am sliding back to zero, but this time without hope of things getting better. Story 71. Counseling is the best thing we as men can do. Find good friends and talk openly and honestly with one another. It may sound unlikely, but it works. The system was designed to prevent us from talking and to keep our feelings bottled up. If enough of us communicate, who knows what could happen. Story 72. The ups and downs are honestly more exhausting than my previous year of constant downs. I have been trying to work on myself, but honestly, it feels like I am doing more harm than good. Today is a particularly bad day, and I am not even sure why, but the smallest things are triggering my spiral downward. I am just exhausted. Story 73. In a difficult situation due to long-term unemployment. I just work out, apply for jobs, and try to do gig work to earn some money. Somehow, my interview anxiety has gotten worse when you would think now is when I should be the most motivated. Story 74. The more I live, the more I understand that being born is not worth it. I am the last member of my family tree. Story 75. Honestly, a bit bad. How I appear to friends, family, and loved ones bears no resemblance to how I often feel inside. Often, I am anxious, hollow, weary, fed up, flat, and occasionally have suicidal thoughts. I have no reason to feel any of those things. I take antidepressants, have had therapy, and have people I love and who love me. I have people I can talk to honestly, but still. Story 76. Bad, but not as bad as it has been before. There have been many better days. I want to be left alone more than ever. I feel at peace when I am alone and not lonely anymore. Story 77. Turning 40 this month. Moved to the United Kingdom 10 years ago. My father, who has been to Europe 3 times since, hasn't come to visit. After promising to come, he still isn't going to show up, and somehow it's my fault. To the fathers out there, don't be bad dads. It affects your kids for life. Story 78. It's good, but mostly because at my age, early 30s, I do not really care about much anymore. I used to be very passionate, but I have kind of lost the life force to do so. Story 79. Terrible. Therapy is a harmful deception. I cannot believe I allowed someone to talk down to me in that way. My mental health was much better before therapy. It is a marketing strategy to keep the therapy industry making more money. Story 80. Honestly, as long as we are functioning properly, no one cares about how we are feeling or our mental status. Nobody even wants to hear about it. Story 81. Awful, it is difficult to be isolated. However, there are moments of realizing I do not need anyone, and that feels empowering. I look forward to moving back to the woods and mountains soon. Story 82. I am falling apart. On the outside, I look great. I take care of myself, I look good, I make a lot of money, and I am about 2 years away from a position that pays between $900,000 and $1 million a year. I should have it all figured out. Inside, I hate waking up. I am ready for death, and if it weren't for my child, I would have started a pistol a few years ago. I keep waiting for something to give, but it doesn't. I just want to die and be left alone. Story 83. It has been stable for a while now. Sometimes it can get bad when I least expect it, but it is not how it used to be when I first started therapy and medication. Story 84. I don't know where to start. No one is ever there if I need help. If I do need help, they just listen and expect me to move on or get over it. Sometimes I say things, and they use them against me in arguments. They say that I am weak or that I should not have these kinds of issues. Yet when they have issues and I listen to them, it is the same thing and they want support from me. I am supportive of others. I wish others were just as supportive of me. That is the main reason I just say, I am fine. Do not worry about it. Story 85. I cannot count how many times I have told myself, it will get better tomorrow. Just this month. Story 86. I am fairly certain that I am on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and if I have too much time to think about it, it will inevitably happen. Story 87. I am okay sometimes. Sometimes I am not. However, no alcohol and increased physical activity have really helped. Story 88. I figured out the voices. It is amazing. The ones who have not figured it out are jamming my frequency. Story 89, plummeting. On antidepressants. In therapy, I exercise every day. I try to get good sleep. I eat healthy. I have reasonable wealth. Happily married. For great kids. And I still want to stay in bed. I'm exhausted. I feel stuck. Trapped. Catastrophic thinking. Scared. I am more introverted now. It's all awful. Story 90. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. If you can dodge a ball, you can dodge your feelings. I am still getting pummeled by wrenches. So, I am on my way to serenity. Serenity now. Story 91. Pretty bad, but nobody seems to care or help. Every time I mention something, I get stories of how others have it worse. Every time I mention it to a doctor, I get the "you have nothing to be depressed about" speech. They are right, I do not have anything to be depressed about, but I am depressed. Story 92. Might consider ending everything because of my infinite introspective recursive self-sabotage. Honestly, I am just living day by day. So far, it is barely enough to not complete the task. It all weighs upon a micro-imbalance. Part of me just wants to let it all go and hope my loved ones do not get hurt by my actions. Another part believes that life actually matters and I have an opportunity to survive another day. Story 93. It's pretty good. I have a strong mental constitution and have dealt with many stressors and traumas over the years, but managed to keep myself reasonably healthy and functional. In my 40s, I am probably in the best shape, both mentally and physically, of my life and have been maintaining and improving it for years. I built strong support networks, live in a place where environmental stressors are balanced by the broader environment's alignment with my values, and have made choices that led me to a career that allows me to do all this. Story 94. Honestly, lately I have been nothing short of amazing. I escaped the cult I was raised in and left my gay ex-wife, with whom I am still best friends, so now we both get to live freely and honestly. It does mean that my family and former friends will no longer speak to me, but it is more than a fair trade for how I feel these days. Story 95. Never the best, the slightly varying degrees of isolation all my life have not helped, combined with being cooped up with the wrong people and still not having any real independence. That will change when I get my license and a vehicle. Story 96. I hide my emotions and let them go. My wife and children come first. Fathers always finish last. Story 97. I'll Keep On by Nathan Forstein came on my rotation the other day, and I almost broke down. Captures it pretty well. Oh, these hands are tired. Oh, this heart is tired. Oh, this soul is tired. But I'll keep on. I'll keep on. I'll keep on. Story 98. Suffering breeds character, but no one needs to suffer all the time. Regarding mental health, I would say I am about even. Good days offset the bad. Story 99. Feeling stuck and powerless, but I am listening to Thank You Scientist right now, so things are not awful. Story 100. Amazing, actually. Against all odds, I find myself exactly where I need to be, doing what I need to be doing. Story 101. Bipolar here. I did not get out of bed yesterday, but I dusted myself off, got greasy diner food, and showed up at my mother's house. Hopefully, tomorrow will be a good day. Story 102. It's pretty okay. I don't particularly like the amount of work I do for the amount of pay, but it pays the bills and is at least within the range of what I like to do. I am just biding my time until I get to leave for something more fulfilling. Story 103. Not too bad. My last relationship affected me deeply. The love language I wanted to receive changed from acts of service to words of affirmation. This is not because I lack confidence, but because I realized that my former partner acted like she was single on social media. Imagine us going on dates and all she posts are the places and the food we eat. Not even a picture of my hand or my shoe was posted. It made me feel like I wasn't really the one she wanted or appreciated. Story 104. I lost my mother in 2020, my brother last year, and now my father is in a home suffering from both dementia and Alzheimer's disease. No one cares, and I am just powering through with my head down. It has been a bit much. Story 105. The last 2 years really broke me. I was on a growth trajectory for over 2 decades, and last year was the first time I was fired. It broke something inside me that, along with the images from Gaza, has put me in a strange depression I can't seem to pull myself out of. Story 106. It's not great, but not bad either. I'm just surviving, I guess. I have a good job, a roof over my head, and food on the table. It's everything outside of that I lack. No connection, no friends, no girlfriend, bad anxiety, and still a bit depressed. I'm hoping to change these things, but it's been hard, and I don't know if change is possible. Story 107. If euphoria is 10 and putting my head through a noose is 0, I am at about a 4. Could be worse, but if it gets much worse, it is going to be a snowball to 0. Story 108. Overall, it is not good, but I have my ups and downs. Right now, I am a bit up, but also a bit down. Generally, my baseline is below normal, but not at plunging depths. I am just tired and not happy. I am not unhappy, but I am sad a lot. Story 109. I have a lot of paperwork and bureaucracy to go through, which stresses me a lot. I don't want to do it, but now I am officially late, and it is putting even more stress on me. Last week, I broke my no alcohol during the work week rule, and I feel like I won't be able to hold it this week either. Overall, I feel unwell. Otherwise, great. Story 110. Mainly career-based, but we are very unproductive at the moment. I made a few errors at work a few weeks ago, so my manager took me aside and asked if I was all right. No. There may be light at the end of the tunnel, and I am trying to read some books on how to stop beating myself up constantly. I have been doing this quite badly for the last 2 months. But yes, we are struggling at the moment. Story 111. Been 80 feet up in the air on a fully extended boom lift on soft, uneven ground for the past 2 days at work, feeling every minute like I'm going to die, leave my child fatherless, and my fiancé alone. Today, I'll probably refuse to go back up and likely get reprimanded by a lazy foreman who just sits in his truck all day. Part of me worries I'll lose my job over it. Mental health is important. Yesterday, the lift sank a few inches while we were up there. I will take pictures for evidence of the safety violation for when I refuse to go up. Story 112. Honestly, not great. People don't really check up on me, nor do they care. So, I don't have many people to talk with. The lack of proper, good friends has been getting to me, and I feel horribly alone at home. My love life is nowhere to be seen. I thought I had something going with someone, but I feel more like a nice to have around type of person. Since I don't want to bother people, I end up feeling like a nuisance. Going from confessing to each other, spending time nonstop, to sometimes not even getting a message for more than 19 hours breaks me more than I would like to admit. Seeing people around my age have more luck and success in life doesn't help. I end up feeling suicidal, but who isn't nowadays? All we can do is keep moving forward, no matter how painful it is. It's not fun. Story 113. I am on the brink nearly every day. I would never discuss this with anyone, let alone my friends. Oh, that is right, I do not have any of them. Story 114. I was just contemplating suicide because I couldn't talk to someone about my internship. Social anxiety is very difficult. Story 115. Ups and downs happen all the time. A caring woman in your life can really help with that. However, you need to be careful because she is not a support to rely on completely. Story 116. My mental health worsens multiple times every day, but I manage to lift it back up because I have to keep moving and keep working. I have not been able to rest for many years because I need to earn money. It is very difficult, and I think I cannot continue like this. I want a long rest away from people and digital devices, but I feel trapped by digital devices. Story 117. Not great, but improving significantly over the last couple of weeks. I was profoundly depressed and have been working to recover. Now I need to get a new attention deficit hyperactivity disorder assessment because I cannot find my old one, and I really need to get back on medication. Story 118. When I feel that something is off, I usually do not notice I am having issues until I feel better and have a point of comparison. After focusing on work and other hobbies, I have come to realize that I am quite lonely. I live alone in a foreign country, and although I have built communities around me, the loneliness only subsides temporarily. Reading books and feeling a sense of accomplishment in my hobbies and work are helping, but I fear they are only temporary solutions. Story 119. Falling apart. Trying to stay positive and keep moving, but I have a sense that some things are sneaking up on me. Story 120. Financially, I'm okay. Could be better, but all my bills are paid. I just bought a car last month, so I have less money now than expected because some things cost more than the last time I owned a car, but I'm staying afloat. Mentally, I'm struggling, mainly because all my siblings are celebrating on the 4th of July. I originally had the day off from work, but my managers changed the schedule and are requiring me to show up. I should be thrilled to get my salary doubled that day, but I go for months without seeing my sisters, brothers, nieces, and nephews, so I guess I'm really missing them. I'm off from work until Friday. I'm strongly considering taking a road trip by myself to relax and unwind. I don't want to be cooped up in my apartment for 2 days, feeling all the stress. Story 121. I lost my job yesterday for a really stupid reason. I feel absolutely terrible and have severe anxiety today because I have a new girlfriend to take care of. Story 122. I am okay. Working very hard, but bills are paid and my partner is happy. Baby coming soon. Excited and petrified at the same time. Social life is at an absolute zero, but that is what it takes to get through this economy. Story 123. No partner. Friends are either away or always busy with work or their spouse. I own a business that was doing well but has not been in a good position for the past 3 to 4 months, so money is starting to be a problem. But I tell myself everything is going to work out because I am him. Story 124. Life can be difficult, but you just have to enjoy the good things that happen so you don't focus on the negative as much. You know? Story 125. Stable but slightly depressed in a nihilistic fashion. Paroxetine removed 100% of my anxiety but also dulled other aspects of emotion. Not sure where to go from here. My depression is mostly existential and related to missing deceased loved ones. There really is no cure for that. All in all, I am doing okay. Just okay. I will figure it out. Story 126. I have my last therapy session next week, and honestly, I have never felt better. Speaking out is hard, but reaching stability from rock bottom is the greatest feeling. Story 127. Godawful, to be honest. I can forget about it while I am at work, but the minute I sit down in my car to drive home, I feel like I have to cry. I have to put on a brave face when I get home so my parents do not worry, but once I am alone, the tears start, especially when I am finally in bed with the lights off. It is just so goddamn lonely and sad all the time. It sucks, and I hate it, and I just wish it would stop. Story 128. Really difficult. My fiancé broke up with me a few months ago, and my job unexpectedly gave me a bad performance review, making it clear they want me to leave. I have started to regain the weight I had lost earlier this year. I just can't get motivated, and I am probably experiencing depression. I'm in a major funk right now. I know things will get better, but it's hard to see when that will happen. Story 129. It is not great unmedicated. With medication, I am doing all right. I do have to take more medicine than I like, but I cannot argue with the results. Story 130. Recently, I went to my country for a month to see my mother and brothers. This helped me a lot. It had been 7 years since I last saw them. Story 131. Can we get this content banned now, please? It is the same karma farming tactic preying on men's mental health issues. Story 132. Getting used to a new job, fear of running out of money, afraid of hurting people, stress, anxiety, occasional depression, but life is still overall good, so I cannot complain. Story 133. Generally, I am quite good at managing my mental health, but the last few days, I have been feeling off without actually knowing the cause. I think I am overly tired at this point. I have a lot on my plate, many responsibilities, a lot of work, and not much sleep. Tomorrow will be better, right? Story 134. I'm trying to keep it together with the stress. Living at my parents' house at 23 definitely affects my mental health. I failed several classes and had to delay my graduation. I'm taking my last class for my degrees and hope to pass and get a job by the end of the year to start making money. Not making money is really stressful, especially if you are a man in your 20s. I try to pursue hobbies such as Muay Thai, running, lifting, reading, writing, and improving my skills by watching videos and deepening my understanding of my field. I resent and despise my family. I'm trying to leave. The good news is that I'm in good physical shape, the healthiest I've ever been, going from 218 pounds to 172 pounds. I have also developed healthy grooming and hygiene habits. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.